Okay, so generally we're just here to talk about our bird festival that we had. So this happened on April 6th. We had roughly 200 people that showed up, give or take. So this was our first event, and there was a little bit of reasoning behind this. So we're trying to get Terre Haute certified as a bird town, Indiana. So we'll talk about the certification. So this is the Bird Town Indiana program. It's through the Indiana Audubon. But we do have to meet certain criteria before we can get this certification. Basically, it's just a recognition program along with, they give us 2 metal street signs, and you can buy more if you want them, to put in the Parks Department. So what we meet, basically the checklist is there's 4 different categories. We have to meet 1 in each along with 2 in another for a total of 7 different criteria. The first thing is that we have to be considered a tree city, so we have to get our certification. We do have the certification for that as long as I think we still have it, as long as we have a city forester. So that might be a pending thing until that comes back around, but.
I think we have an interim right now. That's
Yeah.
what when I called over there yesterday. So.
Okay, cool. So then we can still go forward with that because that was the only one in that category that we did meet. There's a few other things. So it's what we do for Terre Haute as a whole. So we have a bird monitoring program for bluebird trails. So a lot of people put in time and effort of building these nest boxes and then installing them, and then they monitor them yearly for reproductive successes. Christmas bird count, big May Day bird count, these are national programs that Indiana and the Vigo County Audubons are a part in. So the past one, Dr. Peter Scott, if any of you know him, he organizes that along with Dan Weber.
Dan Weber.
Yeah, Dan Weber. He's also a big part in that. They collaborate to do the groupings and agenda for that. But we have a lot of participation in that every year. We have some really dedicated members that come out and do that. So basically that's just a census of the county. So one's an aerial thing and one's a citywide. Countywide, excuse me. We have to provide some information on the fact that we provide invasive species management, which we do through SICM. There is a Southern Indiana branch, which is what SICM is, and then there's a Vigo County portion of that. So we need the information from that. Just saying that we offer it to those of Vigo County, and we show them how to manage it in their own properties, that sort of thing. We provide info on window strikes. So during the bird festival, we actually sold the UV window clings that prevent bird window strikes so that they can actually see the windows. So it's just basically see-through stickers that you put on your window. So the birds see them, you don't really see them. And basically just getting the notion out there that, like, yes, your bird is hitting the window because they can't see the window, sort of thing. So, and then basically, I just updated our website, that we have a little bit of information on backyard habitats. So making your habitat bird friendly, so to speak. So focusing on water features, nesting habitat, removing the invasives, and then adding natives. So it also includes info on where to buy native plants around here and how to have them shipped to you. Then finally, the whole point of this was the last certification was the bird festival. So we did a bird festival. And I'll let Carissa show you some pretty pictures of that.
Well, here's our agenda. So, I thought there was another one before that. Okay. Oops. There's Morgan. Okay. So our agenda, we did it in a 4-hour time period, 1 to 5. On a Saturday, that's when people can be there. So we had, you can't do it on there. The map all mapped out so people would know where to go, and then all the sessions. So we had bird talks, hikes, birding hikes. It was very muddy out there, but people went. We had crafts for the kids, And I'll show you some pictures here. And there's our welcome table. Kids could come up and get a sticker or a tattoo, and then they get the agenda there. And everything was either inside our buildings or in our amphitheater out at Dobbs Park. So, which made it very easy, since I'm a naturalist out there, made it easy for me to collaborate all this and get it done. So this is the inside the amphitheater, this is right outside the amphitheater. So that was our merchandise table and our bake sale. So the bake sale kind of made just, a little bit of money for us to put in for next year, and the merchandise as well. Some of the crafts that the kids were doing, had a good time there, made a mess. Bird netting demonstration, IU, Center for Environmental Resilience Institute, came and did bird netting for us. So they set these huge nets up out in our bird viewing area, and when they caught a bird, they would bring it in and the people could see it very close. And they talked about some of the bird banding things that they do, some of the things that they monitor through that. But this little girl actually got to touch a sparrow. Some of the birds you really shouldn't touch, but sparrows, house sparrows, are non-native, so they're like, yeah, go ahead and touch it. So go ahead and freak it out. So they got to actually get really close to the birds, and that went on for most of the day. Well, there we go. There's our bird hikes. That's Ben and Alan Bruner, Ben Spengross and Alan Bruner, two extraordinary birders, and Ben is an excellent photographer. They led the hikes. It looks like they're not doing much there, but but they had a couple hikes. And then I put the prothonotary warbler there, that he came to our window and sat right on the window. And here's some of the bird presentations. I did not get a picture of Mark Booth. And most people know who Mark Booth is if you go to any of the Earth Days or Bat Festival. He goes to those, brings his birds. He did his first, so I was still setting up. So I did not get any pictures of him, but this is Wild Care down here in the bottom. They're from Bloomington, and they are a rehabilitation center. And so they brought some of their ambassador birds to show and talk about, and I wanted them to talk about what to do when you find a baby bird, because we get lots of calls at the Nature Center about that, and people don't know. They think, oh, if I've touched it, the mom won't come back, but we need all of that to be that needs to go away. So people can put baby birds back in the nest, or if it's feathered, it probably is already out of the nest, that kind of thing. So just leave it alone. But these birds, I'm not sure what happened to them, but they are ones that they can bring around. Of course, this one's a pigeon, and then that one is a wood duck. And they also had a barn owl, and I was thinking there was something else, maybe just three. And then this lady up here did a talk about birds' sense of smell. So they're finding out that birds actually do have a sense of smell more than what we thought that they had. They don't necessarily use it in a way that like what we use it for. It's more of territorial mating. So we had about 200 participants, 15 to 20 volunteers, and we had Take Flight Wildlife Education with Mark Booth, Wild Care Inc., and IU Environmental Resilience Institute, and Friends of Goose Pond. George Sly did a talk about Goose Pond, which is a major birding area in our area. It has brought many different species of birds to Indiana. So, and I think that might be, yes. Do you have any questions?